inward force, and I'm trying to pull it back right now. Okay, there we go. I can do it. I can do it. So in my last video, we talked about this rear support table that I made quite some time ago, and I was looking forward to your questions, comments, and cheap shots. There were a few, but not a whole lot that couldn't have been answered through the comment section. The one thing I wanted to talk about, though, that didn't get asked was, why is that frame so big? But in addition to that, I have something else I want to share with you. It's a little bit of I guess, an apology, if you will. So stick around for that. But the reason why this frame is built so big is so that I can have the table saw set up all the way to the far right as well as all the way to the far left if I have my headstock hooked up to the joiner. So that table is able to move. Now, I never did get around to adding bearings or wheels or anything to make it possible to slide easily because I was hung up on the idea of how can I make the darn thing tilt. And one idea was to make it possible to tilt just off of the far end, as far away from the jointer as possible, because when you have it to the far right, that's the best position for 45-degree angles, because you can use floating tables if you have a Mark V Model 510 or Model 520 or the Mark VII with the 520 fence system, table tilted 45 degrees. You can use your floating tables far, all the way to the floor if you want to. So that was my thinking there. But like I said, I abandoned it. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot of interest in that, so we're just going to move on from that. Okay, so here's my apology. A couple years ago, a new product came out, and I saw it, and I thought, you know what? There's no need for us Shopsmith users to even consider that because we already have a solution for that. That device is this Featherboard from Bow Products. And you've seen these all over YouTube. There's several different configurations. There's a small table version of this that just has a single knob and slot in the middle. This is the larger, I guess, the big boy version for most people's table saws. And, you know, the Shopsmith Featherboard is part of the basic 5-piece safety kit that all of us get when we buy our equipment. And that Featherboard works great on our, it also gets dusty, works great on our Shopsmith tools. It allows us to get in super close and to get as wide a rip as you might imagine. I want to show you this. I'll show you the extremes that we can get with this tool and see how it compares with the Bow Featherboard. And I got to tell you, I'm impressed. And there's absolutely a few places where I think this product makes a little more sense. So let's take a quick look at these two. All right, so here's the standard Shopsmith Featherboard. And we all know with featherboards, the way we position these, we position them ahead of the blade. We wouldn't want to be cutting off a little piece of stock and pushing the stock into the edge or the side of the blade. So this is about as far forward as you would ever want to position this. And I want you to notice that with this, I could have this positioned just in front of the blade. And if I needed to, and I can't imagine the need for this, you can see this can actually move beyond the blade. Now, perhaps for some shaping or molding or other operations, we run into that need. But plenty of travel. And then as far as how far over can we go, how wide of a rip can we accomplish? And this is assuming I like to keep the piece that I'm keeping against the fence. So I could have my fence adjusted over quite some distance, maybe even over on a floating table, and then have this pushing the stock against the fence. But the question is, how much wider can that board be than the blade? Here we're looking at about 2 3/4 of an inch. Now you might argue then at that width, if we have that much beyond the blade, then we're in a safe position to let our hand be the featherboard. So I happen to agree with that argument. So that's the standard Shopsmith Featherboard. Now, don't give up. There's actually another one I want us to take a look at in a moment. But take a look at the Bow Products Featherboard. Now, one of the things I do like about it, I like the knobs on this. The knobs are pretty neat. I went ahead and placed an order and bought 4 more of these knobs. They work, as it says here, on 5/16 18 threads, which is one of the 2 most common sizes I use for jigs and fixtures. I really like the feel of this. Most table saw manufacturers are making a miter slot that's 3/4 of an inch wide and 3/8 of an inch deep. The Shopsmith miter gauge bar and slots are ever so slightly smaller than that. So I fully expected that this would not fit. But look at that. It drops right in. Now, it does sit just a hair high, but I don't think that that's going to affect anything, in part because this thing right here, the little spreader, in the case of the Shopsmith Featherboard, is made of plastic, but this is made of aluminum. Super, super strong. And when I position this with a piece of stock against the fence, it clamps nice and secure and provides a ton of inward force. And I'm trying to pull it back right now. Okay, there we go. I can do it. I can do it. But boy, that is a ton of force. Let's compare that to the standard Shopsmith Featherboard. Put about the amount of force I would normally put on it here. And I can easily defeat that. So from an anti-kickback point of view, that Bow Products Featherboard has got this one beat. But there's one other place that I was very curious about, and that was on my Sawsmith 2000 table saw. So I want you to notice that from the center of this slot to the center of the miter slot, we have about 4 inches here on the Shopsmith. Let's go take a look at the Sawsmith table saw. So back in the 1990s, when Shopsmith introduced the Sawsmith 2000 table saw, this is the one that has the blade that'll travel like a radial arm saw. One of the things that they desired was to move the miter slot further away from the blade. And there were reasons, but we're 6 inches from the center of that miter slot, to the center of the slot in the table. And so you can see as a result, when I loosen this featherboard and push it over, I'm nowhere near where I need that featherboard to be. So what Shopsmith did was they created this kind of convoluted little thing here where they took their standard featherboard and mounted it to this piece of steel. Steel has a couple T-nuts, as they call them. No, they're not the same as a T-nut, but this is what Shopsmith calls a T-nut. And you would insert that into the slots, lock the T-nuts down, and now you notice that the featherboard has the range to get us close to the slot. And about as far back as what we were having over on the Mark V, we're about 3 inches away at this point. So this is what I was curious about. How would this bow featherboard work on my Sawsmith? So let's check this thing out. So look at that. Just as on the Mark V, I have a little bit more retraction with this one than I have with the bow featherboard, but I can actually get even beyond the blade if I wanted to. So I definitely have the full range of featherboard adjustability that I'm looking for. And I mean, this thing locks absolutely rock solid. And now let's compare that to the Shopsmith solution for the Sawsmith. And you can see I can back this off further. So I can use this featherboard on a wider piece of stock than I can this featherboard. Now, before somebody calls me out on it, yes, it is possible to flip this featherboard over and disassemble everything and do that. And that allows me to get the featherboard further back from the blade. If you didn't know that, Sawsmith 2000 owners, that is a trick you can do. Again, now I can't get anywhere near the blade, but I can use this on wider stock if I'm concerned about safety and needing that third hand pushing the featherboard against. So with that, we have basically the exact same amount of reach. So back here, I have some of my most used safety equipment, but we all know that Norm would say famously that there's no more important safety equipment than these, your safety glasses. Now, I would say, if you go just a little further back, this is the most important safety equipment. If you don't feel safe in an operation, maybe you stop and reassess. There are times where the smartest move is to not use one of these tools. When do you bring the push stick into play, for example? If I'm going to be pushing a 4, 5, 6 foot piece of stock through the table saw, I don't put the push stick on it way back here. I put it under my arm and wait till the board is up on the table. And then I'm continuing to push with my left hand, featherboard also pushing in, as I reach for the push stick, and the push stick completes the cut. Things like that. There are times when you use them, times when you don't use them. You're going to gain knowledge and experience yourself, reading your manuals, reading woodworking books, watching YouTube videos. Just take your time, be smart, and there is no shame in doing a dry run with the tool turned off. All right, that's it. Make it a great day.